Zombies falling from the sky, an old-fashioned shindig, and the darkness always seeks a new host? It's alive! It's alive! We are talking all things DC Swamp Thing. That's right, Season 1, Episode 4, Darkness on the Edge of Town. The AfterBuzz After Show starts right now.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Man, I wish I had a Danish right now. You know, I wish I had a Danish. I'm a little hungry. We have a Danish in the building.
Hello.
This is one of those after shows where it's going to get a little wild because we actually have Liz Tremayne herself in the building. Liz Tremayne, a.k.a. Maria Sten. I guess that's the nickname you go by.
Yeah, absolutely.
The
Thank
alleged
you.
name. But Liz Tremayne from Echo Weekly is in the building herself. And, of course, I'm honored to be in the presence of greatness, Jeff.
When you said honored to be in the greatness, I started looking around. No, I'm just kidding. What's up, y'all? It's Jeff. Happy to be here as always, talking more Swamp Things. Let's get into it, man.
I was actually this close to just say honored to be in the presence of greatness and refer to myself, which is what I really meant, because I am the bathrobe heartthrob. That's right. I am Tehran, and I will be hosting this panel as we are talking Season 1, Episode 4 of DC Swamp Thing, Darkness on the Edge of Town. And if you haven't guessed, we have a special guest in the building because Liz Tremayne is here. And hopefully will be giving us some spoilers. We're going to break down this episode by discussing Todd's infection. Let's talk some Old Town crawfish shindig that we got into. Avery and Maria. Susy Coyle. That seems as sinister as it gets. Alec's tissue. Daniel Cassidy's mission. And of course, the plague that's plaguing the town. We do have a lot of news and gossip. Some spoilers hopefully on the way. A special segment where we talk about our whoa moment. Whoa, where you discuss what made you go whoa, things that go bump in the night, and of course our wonderful predictions, which should be validated by Maria. That's how I feel. So you're going to want to stay tuned and check this one out. Let's get into overall thoughts on the episode. Jeff, your overall thoughts on this episode?
I thought it was a great episode.
That's great. Thanks, Jeff. Hey, Maria, let's talk about this episode 4, right?
Yeah.
It was a great episode. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you very much. Maria's here. I'm so sorry. We appreciate your
Ladies
thoughts.
first.
Yeah, if you could leave, we could be fine.
Hopefully I can do better.
Here's the thing. You were part of this entire episode, but of course you're a part of this journey, which is Swamp Thing. Mm-hmm. How has it been to be in such an epic series and then be part of this unfortunate cancellation? We are here on the team of Bring Swamp Thing Back. We've actually started a hashtag. Ryan, who's in the booth, can you tell us what that hashtag is, please?
The hashtag is hashtag Save Swamp Thing.
That's
There it
right.
is.
Save Swamp Thing.
There
Save
it
it.
is.
Because it's
Keep
such
tweeting
a
it.
great series, and we're all so honestly enamored by the characters. And of course, not knowing you were going to be on the show, you've been constantly one of my personal favorite characters. So
thank
you
you.
so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
How was it being in the middle of a swamp?
Crazy and amazing at the same time. We shot it in Wilmington, North Carolina, which has a lot of swamp. I lived right by the lake where there are alligators. So they're like, yeah, you can go down, rent a kayak, just beware of the alligators.
That's how they talk and what they said?
Yeah, and I said, I'm sorry, what? The alligators? You mean while I'm in the kayak next to that? So that was interesting, but so fun. And we had such an amazing time on that show, and we bonded tremendously, all of the actors, all of the crew and the creators. So it was a very special one, and I think we all felt that when we were making it. It was like crazy because you are shooting on a swamp in a boat, and it gets wild, but everybody involved was just amazing and wanted to be there and put their best foot forward and make an effort. So yeah, it was a great experience.
Well, besides yourself, you were also surrounded by greatness as well. Not just this panel, but as the cast, because there you had Virginia Madsen, you had Crystal Reed, and of course you had even Ian Ziering. Like, you had 90210 in the building, right?
Yeah, Ian, he's my favorite. He's amazing. We had quite a few scenes together, and just like getting to vibe with everybody who are coming together to make this thing. Like, there was never a bad moment. There was never a scene that we didn't want to work out together. So yeah, it was very collaborative spirit.
And then you had Will Patton in the building, who,
Yes.
by the way, is the only slave master that I like, right? So every single scene he's in, everything he's in, he's always that Southern gentleman who's 1 foot out of... Exactly, like 1 foot, but still, and you would be like, oh, okay, well, he didn't whip that hard. Like, he's just such a nice guy.
Well, I mean, you saw episode 3, I'm sure. So,
Exactly.
you know where his tendencies are going. But Will Patton is amazing. He's so fun to work with. We also have kind of the same process, I think, in some ways, in how to approach the work. So we're always like, how can we find more stuff to do, and so I didn't have a lot of scenes with him, but it's just fun to watch, like, him, explore the character.
Does he murder you at any point throughout the season?
I mean, I can't really tell you.
Well, you can.
Exactly. It's like just 10 episodes. You got this.
Yeah,
Let us know.
there's like. How about we come back for episode 10?
Here's the thing. It's just us,
You're more than
thousands of viewers, and, of course, the 10,000 uploads plus that we get on
every
the series.
son ain't got nothing unless Tremayne. Let me just tell you.
Okay.
He can never get to her. So
Well, there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
All 10 episodes.
Have you watched the series yourself?
I have not. No, I'm watching with everybody else.
You're watching as it goes along.
I'm
So
watching
you
as it
are
goes
not
along.
at the end. You are also watching it as it gets dropped every
I have
single
no
Friday.
idea what's about to happen. Yeah.
Wow.
So if we ask you if there's like spoilers that your character's not in, you wouldn't know then? Or would you still have a good idea of what's going on?
I mean, she read the script, Jeff.
Well,
She just hasn't seen the scenes.
I know, but they changed stuff, so I was just
They
asking.
do. Yeah, and it was like, oh, that moment isn't there anymore. But I think, from what I've seen, I remember everything. But it's interesting. It's nice to watch it. Like, I remember watching the pilot, and we're sitting there, like, being scared with everybody else because we don't know.
Yeah, isn't it so crazy how Alec and Abby get married?
So crazy.
I'm just trying to trying to throw that out there, see if anything. Okay, we'll get there. Overall thoughts, Jeff. Let's go back to your overall thoughts on this episode 4. Of course, we are talking darkness on the edge of town.
Yeah,
What were your
so
overall
in this
thoughts?
episode, there was a lot of darkness, obviously. But no, it was a lot of action. It was more action-packed than a lot of the other episodes, in my opinion, just with the darkness traveling to each different person. And you kind of get an insight on their backstory through the darkness. And I thought that was a cool...
That's great. So, Maria, I have a question, right? So, here we are. I'm so sorry, Jeff. Great overall thoughts.
What he said.
Yeah. When it comes to the scenes, how scary are the scenes while you're involved in them?
Oh, they're not really that scary because there's like 150 people standing around, and you have a boom operator, right there, and a camera in your face. So
That actually sounds extremely scary.
yeah, I guess in a certain way, yes, there's another level of being scared with that involved, but no, it's more about just being in that moment and playing off your cast members and knowing what the moment is about and
Well, because you have a lot of
elevating it.
the masters of scare working on this particular show.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking how it would be to actually do the scene, because of course you hear these stories of the directors who actually scare the actor in order to get the real reaction.
oh my God, yeah, no, that did not happen. And I'm glad that it did not happen. I am a wuss when it comes to scares.
Really? Because in the show, you're definitely anything but a wuss, and I'll explain why. Here we are in the scene where Todd has now successfully grabbed a knife and is trying to stab the imaginary snake off his arm, and then he sticks his hand in the disposal, which most of us would do if there was a snake on our arm. That just sounds reasonable to me. And you guys don't scream. You're like, stop. Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I think Liz, there's jump scares, right? I don't like jump scares at all. And then there's like horror and gore and all that. But I think Liz is the type of woman who is like great to have in a pinch, if you will. So she's always gonna be like, plan, figure it out. Like, I need to help. I need to fix it. And so whenever Todd's getting hurt, she's like, I need to just save him. She goes into sort of action mode. That is her saving grace, I think, in life, living in Marais.
And in that scene, you said that it wasn't scary, but was it hard to, not hard, how was it shooting that scene? Because it's very traumatic. You're going through a lot from first Todd, then like it just transfers to two other people, and then like, how was it shooting that scene? It was
wild. It took a while because you have to shoot it twice. You have to shoot it the way that we see it, Liz and Delroy see it, and you have to shoot it the way that Todd sees it. So there's just a lot to cover, and it's an interesting thing going back and forth. Like, so the snake's there, then the snake's not there, then the knife is there, then the knife is not there, and the blood is there, then the blood is not there. So you have to really use your imagination, but that's the fun part, and just getting wild and into this crazy situation. And Andrew Yackel, who played Todd, it was like amazing. Just the whole day on 10 going through the entire day, and yeah, it was a good time.
Honestly, all of you are incredibly good actors. It's a very for what it is, it's a very believable
good
show.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Grounded,
so you see
maybe?
a lot of these shows and you think that they're unbelievable. You use a lot of suspension of disbelief. But in this case, this is a very accurate portrayal, except for how brave everyone seems to be. Because there was the scene we discussed last week where there were bugs everywhere, and Abby's just like, oh no, there are bugs. And I'm like, yo, if I saw a spider, I would just move. I'd be like, you know what? I don't really even like this condo. I just need to go somewhere else.
But you didn't grow up on the swamp, did you?
I did not grow up on the swamp.
So if you're used to that environment, you might be a little more like, oh, it's just a mosquito, or it's just a spider, right? You're used to it. However, yes, I think, but that's also Abby's saving grace, is that she's a brave woman, and her thing is that she has to save people.
But to be very fair, you grew up as far away from a swamp as anything and anyone humanly possible. You are originally from Denmark?
Denmark, yes, born and raised.
Any swamps in Denmark?
No, none.
Not even ice swamps? I feel like there's...
Yeah, we don't have swamps. We have a lot of farmland.
I'm actually surprised there's any black people in Denmark.
Yeah,
I'm shocked about that. That's actually... I'm going to have to go Google that percentage right now.
You learn a new thing every day.
Yeah, learn new things every day. Yeah, I'm Danish, Swedish, Congolese. My dad is from Congo. There are black people in Denmark.
And all 8 of you are amazingly good actors.
There you go.
That's the thing. It's a wonderful thing.
We hold down the fort. No, it's growing up in Denmark is definitely different. There's no swamp, but I think, again, it's a small community. Denmark is very much about family and about community in the same way that it is growing up in a small town in the South in that way. So I think in that sense it was comparable, but other things you make up as you go.
Well, in the sense of being comparable, how comparable is Liz Tremayne to Maria Sten? Are you very similar?
Loaded question.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we are very similar in a lot of ways.
In what ways?
Liz has a guts thing about her. She's arch, and she's stubborn as hell, and she's not gonna let anything get in her way. If she has her mindset on something, she gonna make it happen. And so in that sense, I think there's a lot of I put a lot of Maria into Liz with that. And also just coming at things, she has a little bit of not a humor about it, but just like a like an archness to her, that I also think that sometimes I carry around, because otherwise what you're dealing with on a daily basis is just too much. But then, of course, Liz is from Louisiana, and had a different life growing up than I did. So there are other elements, of course, that I have created and taken from the comics and the scripts and whatnot.
How much of the comic books did you research on the character before you got into Swamp Thing?
I read the entire Alan Moore run, and then I went back and read the original. And so, because I wanted just to know, about Liz Tremayne and what her vibe is, which is very much like it is on the page in the pilot, except for the fact that, Liz Tremayne now looks like this, and she does not in the comic.
She did on the inside. She just didn't.
Indeed. And I love that. I have to, give our creators and powers that be credit for wanting to sort of diversify this project and this show, which is exciting to then like infuse that. How can you make Liz, what is Liz Tremayne like, and what does she behave like, and what kind of baggage does she carry around, being a black girl from a small town in the South.
Definitely. And one thing that was portrayed, not in this episode specifically, but your character is portrayed as lesbian in the series. Has anyone reached out to you, and how do you feel portraying that role? Was it nerves at first, or?
It was, because for me, it was actually huge, because for me it's a huge responsibility, and doing that justice. People have reached out to me, which I'm really happy about, because I was really nervous, because I want to do it justice. I think it is time that we see LGBTQ plus characters on screen, like just being people, and I think that's what we wanted to do with Liz. So I put a lot of thought into it, put a lot of effort into it, and I'm glad that at least so far people have responded to that.
Go figure. People just being people. Man, that's a crazy thought.
Crazy, huh?
Coming off Pride, I will say you made us proud. Overall thoughts, of course, this episode was a fantastic episode. There was a lot of action. There was a lot of things that happened. I still have that predominant question, which hangs over my head. Why do you all decide to go into the swamp after 9? It's like, oh, hey guys, what are you doing? Oh, it's only 3. Oh, what are y'all doing later? Oh, just gonna wait till the moon comes out, and then we're gonna go to the swamp, and then wait till the moon disappears so we can't see anything in the swamp. Where constantly things happen in this swamp.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. I can't answer that question. You don't see Liz in the swamp at night.
So Liz got in the car with Emmy and was like, let's go drive and figure out what's up with this cop. Like, Liz gets in the car.
There are some people that go to the swamp at night, and then there's some that don't. Just saying, some people, what's different about the people that go at night and what people that don't.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
each their own.
She's like, I grew up here. I don't need to be messing with that swamp at night.
know.
Yeah, I know the alligators out there. It's a thing. The swamp there's just something really...
Someone's got to talk to Abby. Someone has to be like, hey, Abby, here's a collection of scary movies, and this is what happens to young, beautiful white girls who go into places in the dark and yell, anybody here? Yes, someone's here.
Yeah.
You know who did go into the swamp? Todd. Todd went into the swamp and got infected. Let's talk about Todd's infection. This disease that was plaguing him with this darkness that belongs to the swamp. What did everyone perceive it as?
At first, I didn't know if it was like a demon or if it was... Yeah, I didn't know what it was. 'Cause I knew the swamp was controlling them. At first, I was like, demon, is it a virus or what's going on? And then they kind of talked about it more, and you see that it's like showing each other their worst nightmares. It was, like I said earlier, it was just cool to see because it gave everybody a backstory. And like even with Abby, you see the darkness, and I thought it was at first her dad, and we're still... I don't know if she like actually says who it is in that episode, but she says there was someone in her dreams when she was a kid. So it gives a lot of people backstories. And with Todd, it was crazy. It was one of the jumpiest moments in the episode, but like it was cool to see.
Yeah.
What would Liz's worst nightmare have been?
I mean, she says spiders, but I think it's more it's family related when she sees her. Essentially, what happens with Delroy, seeing her dad sort of go through that, is essentially probably her worst nightmare. If he hadn't made it out, the sheriff has a gun pointed on the black man. It's a problem.
That's a problem. It's a scary reality,
So,
and it's always intriguing. I saw that interestingly enough, Liz was not at the old crawfish shindig where everyone else was. Why?
She was Roman.
She came after.
She was
came
there.
She came with the purpose, but she didn't go initially.
No, she didn't. And I think it's just, it's the Sunderlands that are putting this on. She doesn't need to mess with the Sunderlands. She knows what that's about. She knows he's putting on a show, and at least that's what I would say. And so she's just like, excusing herself from the situation. She doesn't need to show face. She knows everybody in town already. She knows what Sunderland's up to.
Yeah, a lot of people, it seems that the Sutherlands are extremely sinister. What is this connection with Avery and Maria? What are they really up to?
If I tell you, I'd have to kill you.
I'd rather die. It wouldn't be the first time a girl has threatened to kill me in the last 24 hours. So,
yeah, I mean, you just that one I can't answer because that's a real spoiler. You just have to keep
8 of them
on
were
watching.
Danish, which makes it even crazier.
I think there's something. Avery has his agenda. Maria has hers.
Interesting, because hers seems to be an obsession, and we see that obsession be brought to life when we see Susy Coyle is now somehow becoming a ward of the Sutherlands, and by somehow I mean Avery paid for her.
Yeah. So make what you will of that. But again, it just goes to show sort of the influence that these people have on this town, and I think it's sort of indicative of these kind of people in society and in communities like that. In terms of the future of their relationship together and how they're supposed to be this pillar of the town, eventually something's got to give.
Eventually something has got to give.
So does Liz and Abby find out soon, or how do they react to that news? Are they surprised, or is that something
News?
To Susy being adopted or bought by Sunderland?
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good thing, and I think Abby being closer to them is more invested in them and acts accordingly. But Liz is just going to essentially her.
Yes, what is Liz going to do?
Her job in life, or her agenda, is to expose what is going on with the Sunderlands, and so that is essentially anything. That's her trajectory, and that's her mission, and that's what she's going to focus on. So she's essentially just gathering information.
Well, we see Maria takes an immediate interest to Susy.
Mm-hmm. What
is that interest? Where does it spark from? Is it the loss of her child?
Yes, of course. Yeah, it's having a young girl to take care of, to nurture, someone who reminds her of her daughter. I would say is for sure a trigger for Maria, and then she's haunted by these memories, and of course we are living in a town in Marais where crazy stuff happens, and there is the darkness, and it is infiltrating everybody's minds and existences, and so when you have that kind of baggage with the loss of a child married to this new thing that comes into your life, it's a recipe for disaster.
Now, did Avery bring Susy to the house just for Maria, or is it for more? Is there more to that story?
God, is with the spoilers, man.
No, not spoilers.
Just
that
insight.
means you're spoiling something. No, this is additives. This is the icing on the cake.
It's just a little bit of insight.
We don't want dinner. We just want the cake.
And icing on top, and the cherries.
What's good without the icing and the cherries? Who wants that? Why would you want to have a cake and not eat it? That doesn't make sense to me ever.
What was your question again? Tell me your question again.
No, I was saying, did Avery bring her on or bring her in the house, or more than just for Maria?
What do you think?
Well, he paid.
But what do you know?
Yes, exactly. I was like, he definitely suggested more. He definitely suggested more, and for paying her, he's never been that into Maria. He wanted her to be happy, but there's always a second meaning to everything he does.
There you go.
I thought it had to do with maybe the money. It had to do with her money, and also had to do with the fact that she was one of the infected. So there's a double with research possibly, and then of course to have Maria just preoccupied as he spends her money. That's my interpretation, but I really wonder what Maria's interpretation of it is.
All of that.
Okay, let's. With all of that being said, let's get into Alec's tissue. We see that Abby collects a piece of Alec's tissue. Alec just, of course, all of a sudden he has a mastery of the English language that's amazing. And he reaches out and gives her a sample. That sample is taken back, and then, of course, the evil doctor walks in and examines it as well. Where is that going to go?
That feels like it's going to set up a thing between Abby and the evil doctor, Jason Woodrue, who is crazy.
Just his voice, just Kevin Durant's voice in those scenes just sounds so ominous.
Yes, in the best way possible, and it is. He's such an amazing actor, and what he did with that character was just so lovely and chilling, to say the least. So yeah, it sets up a lovely, interesting, weird dynamic between the two of them, and also maybe Dr. Woodrue has an agenda of his own.
Interesting. Which has to do with his wife.
That's quite possible.
It is possible.
That's
See,
Sounds
I
like
wasn't
it
even
is.
thinking about his wife. I thought he was acting underneath Sunderland.
No, because he specifically says he has no care for what Sutherland wants, especially when Abby brings it up. I don't not believe him when he speaks. I just think he has his own agenda.
He's just a sociopath is all. Yeah.
Well, he's a man of science, and he is science for the fact of science, and also for whatever that agenda is, which is, in my opinion, to cure his wife with the magic of the swamp as he sees fit. And, of course, we see Daniel Cassidy has a mission. The Blue Devil keeps popping around, wants to know what this mission is, can't figure it out, jumps in, kind of saves the day when he jumps in to save Abby.
Yep.
Because Abby, for some reason, just no one told her to run. No one told her to run. Like, there's got a gun. Abby, you just seen people get shot at. You seen someone stab their arm. See someone stick their arm in the disposal, and you're not thinking she might just pop off?
But Abby stays not running away from people.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe she has a secret death wish.
I mean, she might be. She goes to the swamps late. She was running, or neither did you, but you didn't leave. You didn't leave the room when he had the shotgun, and he was just shooting up the place. Y'all just stood.
Well, that's my dad.
And she
That's
also
my dad.
still realized to stay in the back. She didn't go in front of the shotgun and be like,
True.
Dad,
Yeah.
put the shotgun
no.
down.
Yeah, I was gonna say Abby just took that to a new level. She's like, "No, come here, look at me." It's like, got a gun.
Yeah, I mean, guilt is a hell of a thing, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
What's this death wish? Where's this guilt from?
You know, her and Shauna being best friends, right? That's what that's the two and two I put together. She feels responsible. Obviously, we learned that very early on that she feels responsible for Shauna's death.
Yeah, but they're like, it's more than just feeling responsible. They're like blaming her for the death.
Yeah, so
And
that too.
there's-
So if you can imagine that the parents of her best friend blames her for the death, how do you think she blames herself?
Exactly, but like, people around the town are not coming to her defense either. At least it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, because she left. You know, she got out and she left and she did her thing. And I think maybe when you are from a small town and you see people, the community see, oh, you are the person who left. You abandoned us. You think you're better than us now. You know, whatever that may be. So she has a lot to sift through coming back into this environment, into this community.
Well, it's good to know. I'm glad that all of you at home have not left. We do not think we are better than you. In fact, you are as much a part of this panel, if not more a part of this panel than all of us at home. Thank you so much for being a part of the AfterBuzz family. We encourage you to comment below, join the discussion, tell your friends, spread the word, hit that subscribe button, and of course, comment if you're listening on iTunes. We love being the #1 Swamp Thing podcast on iTunes. That's an amazing place to be. We appreciate you all, and thank you for keeping us the ESPN of TV talk. Let's get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So, getting to some news and gossip, Swamp Thing star Derek Mears discusses that shocking cancellation. We were all shocked as we broke the news here at AfterBuzz first, and then, of course, went ahead to discuss that wonderful hashtag that we've got going around. We were able to bring back Lucifer, and now we are on a mission to bring back Swamp Thing. Ryan, that's hashtag again?
Hashtag Save Swamp Thing.
That's right, save Swamp Thing, because even the cast was caught off guard. Production, the directors, and it's been very hush-hush on why the actual reason is. Here we get Mears personal explanation, it was such a heartbreaker to find out after our first episode that we got canceled for the second season. But all we've heard up until that point was how amazing everything was, because it was. And everyone's going. We have a big hit on our hands. This is crazy. So it's a weird nebulous space that we're all in now because we don't know officially why that would ever happen or why they canceled it. Even if you were going to cancel it, wouldn't you wait until later on to see how it plays with fans before? So something's going on somewhere. Mears goes on to describe how he really truly feels. I love how candid all of the cast and production has been, because this has been such a wonderful, amazing, refreshing show to watch. We were expecting a Titans. We were expecting
crossover.
We were expecting a lot more. Yes, we were looking for Justice League Dark to come out after 3 seasons. We were expecting so much more, and yet we get its own 10-season arc. How did you feel when the show got canceled?
It was like having the rug pulled out from under you, and that sounds so very dramatic because, it happens all the time, but I think with this one specifically, we did feel weird because, the response had been so good from the fans and the critics, and everybody felt that we were part of something special. And
you are.
I mean, and the show lives on, and we're so grateful that it's out there and for everybody to see and enjoy. So yeah, it was definitely odd. We all felt just discombobulated, if you will. So there's that, and I think we're still asking those questions, why those decisions were made, but that's for the powers that be to...
Well, the powers that be is the audience, and that's all of us. And so if we all band together, let's remember we have the power because we are the ones that the content is created for. So please go ahead, tell your friends, spread the word. Let's get that hashtag going. Ryan? That's right, hashtag Save Swamp Thing. Get that going. Let's start that. Let's keep Swamp Thing alive.
Keep it alive. Keep the swamp alive.
Let's talk about those whoa moments. Whoa! What is your whoa moment of this episode?
Do you want to go first or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, well...
That's right, ladies first. Jeff, please.
All right, well, No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
No, so there was a lot of whoa moments in this whole episode. Like I said, it was very jumpy. Probably the one that surprised me the most was Abby's, when she got the darkness in her. It was surprising at first, and then seeing her being choked, or at least what she thought was being choked, and then actually being hugged by Swamp Thing to get it out. But it was surprising, it was jumpy, and it also gave me insight into her backstory. So it was jumpy, and then it made me remember that scene.
That's a good one. I think my whoa moment is probably in the kitchen with Todd, who has a snake appearing from nowhere. Obviously, we can't see it, but the man literally stuffs his hand down a garbage disposal. I mean, who does that? And being a part of that, and then just having him bleed out right there on the floor. That's so very dramatic, and I think that was the biggest, because also it's the first one. It's the first one that you see, so you're like, what the hell is happening? And yeah, that's definitely my...
Yeah, as a viewer, watching that scene, I write down notes and everything while I'm watching the show, and then I literally just dropped my pen. I was like, what in the world is going on? This is wild. And it was definitely the definition of a whoa moment. Yeah. That was very out there, very spontaneous, because it was the first one. We didn't see it, so no, it was definitely probably one of the biggest whoa moments, like you said.
I'm gonna have to go with the whoa moment of Abby and Maria. Just that tension that's there every time they're both in the same scene. And to me, that's a whoa, because Abby always relents to Maria. She gets up, she doesn't question. If we say Abby never runs, she does run when Maria's in the picture. And so that's going to be my whoa. Let's jump into quick predictions.
Yeah, one of the predictions I had was...
TV predictions.
Yeah, so my bad. One of the predictions I had is either... Jason or Avery are going to find out about Swamp Thing. And I'm saying it's going to be next episode because they're both getting closer. One's with Susy and then one's with the DNA. So they're both inching closer. There's only so many episodes you can do without someone seeing him other than Abby. So that's my guess. And one of those two guys are going to see Swamp Thing in his next episode.
Maria?
Predictions?
Yeah, just predictions. Just things you think might happen since you've read all the scripts.
I mean, God. I think there'll be more going into the swamp at night. That's what I think.
Okay, let's get into that. I'm going to go with the fact that Dr. Woodrow uses the cells that Abby brought and uses it for his own sinister purposes. And I think that's going to be the mutation factor from who we get Woodrow to be. And we get that sip of the tea, that Kermit the Frog, and you already know what it is. Where can people find you, Maria, if you want to be found? And thank you so much for being on the show with us.
Thank you for having me. Instagram, at Maria Sten. Twitter is at Actress Maria. That's what I got.
You had to switch it up?
Yeah,
At least you don't have an underscore. I'll go with that.
No, we don't do the underscore.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't trust the underscore. Jeff, where can people find you?
Well, don't trust me then, because what's up, y'all? It's Jeff Williams. My Twitter and Instagram is JeffWill_Jr.
And so, that's why we don't follow you. You should,
exactly.
But we don't. Of course.
Suspect.
I understand that, but I am Tehran, literally at I am Tehran all across the board. That's IAMTEHRAN. And of course, you can catch me on a slew of other AfterBuzz after shows as I host and panel. All your favorite TV programs are my favorite TV programs too. So make sure to check us out. We will be next week. Hopefully Maria will be back because we loved having you on, and we're gonna get some secrets out of you after all. But until then, stay tuned and watch more Swamp Thing, and don't forget that hashtag Ryan. Throw it out there. That's right. We'll see you next week.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.